Well, let's go now to James Dorsey, who's a Middle East analyst and a professor at Singapore's S. Rajaratnam School of International Studies. He joins us now from Singapore. Really good to have you back with us, Professor. For a while now, it seemed that Donald Trump was more concerned about getting a peace deal between Ukraine and Russia. So now we're seeing Donald Trump refocusing his efforts on the Gaza war. Benjamin Netanyahu due to meet Trump later in the day. What's your view? Do you believe that this 60-day truce that Trump has been pushing for will become a reality?
We're seeing different parallel trends. On the one hand, we have Trump raising expectations, in a sense putting his credibility on the line by saying we're on the verge of a ceasefire. It's going to be within the week, within a few days. That puts both Hamas and Israel in a difficult position. Neither is willing to move away from their basic positions, particularly with regard to a permanent end to the hostilities and an Israeli withdrawal, but neither wants to be either the fall guy if these talks fail or be on the wrong side of Donald Trump. At the same time, I think what you're seeing is that both Hamas and Israel, for their own reasons, are not opposed to a 60-day temporary ceasefire, but what they're and have shown greater flexibility, not on the issue of substance, but on the issue of semantics. And that's where we are. And we've seen that in the various proposals that have been leaked to various media, that it's really all about semantics.
Yes, and one of the details that has been an issue here is Hamas's concern that should talks fail during any ceasefire, that Israel would simply continue to bombard the enclave. The group has made that quite clear in these ongoing negotiations. Is that something that Israel would be prepared to yield on? Might they, at this stage, issue some sort of a guarantee that such a thing won't happen?
Again, it's an issue of semantics. So Hamas's concerns are based on the fact that Israel in March, during the ceasefire that had been negotiated in January, did not want to go to the second phase of that ceasefire, which would have involved negotiations to permanently end the war. And as a result, it unilaterally broke the ceasefire and relaunched its attacks on Gaza. In the current version, at least certainly in the Arabic version of the proposal that has been presented to Hamas, the proposal states that Trump and the United States would commit to work towards a permanent ceasefire, or to work and commit towards a continuation of talks for as long as that lasts. That falls short of an absolute guarantee. There have been reports that Qatar and Egypt would be willing to guarantee that Israel will follow through on permanent on talks for permanent end to the war. That's not good enough for Hamas. It wants to see the United States committing.
Yes, and the very existence of Hamas has been an issue from the Israeli side. Ever since it waged this war on Gaza, it had repeatedly said that it wants the group obliterated. Now, after almost 2 years, we've seen Hamas continue to front the resistance in Gaza. What do you make of that Israeli demand? Is that going to be stipulated in this agreement, do you think?
I doubt it will be stipulated in the agreement. Netanyahu, on the eve of his arrival in Washington, has made very clear that his goal of destroying Hamas politically and militarily has not changed and will not change. And there can be no end to the war until Hamas has been completely defeated. The question is what concessions either party is willing to make. There is apparently a division between Hamas's leaders in exile, who are somewhat more flexible, have suggested, although that has never been enunciated as official Hamas policy, that Hamas may be willing to disarm in the sense that its weapons arsenals would be put in the custody of, for example, the Palestine Authority. And they have also hinted that Hamas may agree to the exiling of some of its Gaza-based leaders. The understanding is that the Gaza-based leaders are far less flexible on those issues. They won't be in the agreement. They would have to, whatever happens with disarmament and the presence of Hamas leaders in Gaza, that's something that's going to be part of end of the war negotiations.
Okay, Professor James Dorsey, we'll have to leave it there. Great to get your thoughts as always. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. My pleasure.